When working with children, I have noticed that anything CSI related really sparks their interest and gets them engaged. Therefore, I've taken that knowledge and put it into practice with multiple subjects. Today, I'm going to share with you a DNA extraction experiment. Hello, my name is Mary Ellen. I'm a highly qualified educator with multiple degrees, including a master's, and experience in many different fields. DNA can be found in all living organisms. For my experiment, I'm going to use strawberries. The reason for this is that strawberries have a lot of DNA, they're easy to find, and they're easy to mash up. And we have to mash them up in order to get the DNA out of the cells. As always, I'm going to share with you the materials that you need in order to do this experiment. These items are easy to find, so this makes it a great experiment for a classroom teacher or a homeschool parent. First, we take our strawberry out of our extremely hard to open box and place it into our Ziploc bag. We want to make sure our bag is zipped up tight so we don't get any of our red goo splashing on us or the table. Then we begin to mash up our strawberry. Just as a reminder, the DNA is contained within the cells, so our first step in our DNA extraction is to mash up our strawberries. Once the strawberry is all squashed up, we start by making our lysis solution. First, we put in 2 teaspoons of dish detergent. Then we put in a half a teaspoon of salt. And lastly, a half a cup of water. Now that we have everything in our solution, we give it a real careful stir. We do not want to make any bubbles while doing this. Lysis is the breaking down of the membrane of a cell. The DNA is inside the cell, so all of our items in our solution are going to work together to open up our cell and let out our DNA. We are going to pour the solution in with our strawberry. This is easier to do if you have 2 people. So if you're going to do this in a classroom, I would suggest putting your students in pairs. You're going to mix the solution with your strawberry, so you want to let the majority of the air out of your bag. Just like earlier, you don't want to splash this on yourself, so make sure you zip the bag shut. Also, you want to mix carefully so that you do not create very many bubbles. So now we have pieces of strawberry mixed with our solution. We want to strain those pieces of strawberry out in order to better detect our DNA. This is where our coffee filter comes in. We are going to pour the contents of our Ziploc bag through the coffee filter into a clean glass. We create a little pouch with our coffee filter so that we do not get any of the strawberry pieces into our DNA. Alright, we have filtered the liquid from the strawberry pieces. So now what? Well, we want the DNA to come out of the solution. So we take our rubbing alcohol and pour it on top. The DNA is currently dissolved in our solution. However, we just poured the alcohol on top. So now we can sit here and we should be able to see the DNA begin to form. It should be white and slimy. I have heard students describe it as snot looking, and since I do not like snot, that's not my favorite description. Usually you will have quite a bit more DNA than we did, but remember that every experiment turns out a little bit different. DNA is always so interesting to learn about. God has made us all very unique. Just the knowledge that we all have different DNA, fingerprints, and that God even knows how many hairs are on each of our heads is amazing. If you do this experiment with your students, with your children at home, or maybe you complete it just for fun, please let me know in the comments down below. Also, please don't forget to like, subscribe, and click the bell for notifications so you don't miss any future videos. Another way that I implement investigation into my classroom is through inferencing crime scene. I got this idea from Everything Library, and I'll be sure to put a link to it down in the description box below. When the students come into the room, they see the crime scene that I have set up. I tell them that when I came in this morning, the room was a mess, and then I explain to them what I found. She has all of the suspects and alibis all set up for you and ready to use, and she uses Dr. Seuss characters, which makes it even more fun. I give my students clipboards with all of the information on it, and we do read all of this out loud together. Then I split my students into groups. I try to keep this down to 2 groups if possible, so that one group can be up at the crime scene while the other is reviewing their crime file. I just don't want too many students up at the crime scene at a time, or they won't get a very good view. This is a lot of fun, and you can use this with multiple grade levels. Thank you so much for watching. And remember to be proud of your work, productive in your day, and positively joyful.